Good morning. This is Grammar 8 from Monday, March the 23rd. I want to go over your homework with you first. I did not do all of them on the board because we are limited on time. So I did want to go over a few of them. I put number 4 on the board. The farmer harvested an unusually large crop of very tasty corn. Prepositional phrase is a very tasty corn. Then we looked for our verb and we found harvested. Who or what harvested? Farmer. Farmer harvested what? He harvested crop. Crop is our direct object. Now, we have the adjective an. An is always an adjective. It comes right before the noun that it describes. So an crop. Then we have what kind of a crop was it? It was a large crop. So crop is also, large is an adjective also describing crop. To what extent was it large? It was unusually large. So unusually is an adverb telling us to what extent the crop is large. Now, we still have that prepositional phrase of very tasty corn. Okay? Of corn is our preposition and our object, and it tells us about the crop. So this whole prepositional phrase is going to tell us about crop. So we have of and corn. Our preposition and our object. Okay, then what kind of corn was it? It was tasty corn. So tasty is an adjective describing the corn. However, the word very tells us to what extent was it tasty. It was very tasty. So very is diagrammed under tasty. Now, the next one that I put on here was number 7. Number 7. The apples are not ripe enough to eat, okay? We have, our verb is are, and our subject is apples. Apples are. I need a word that either renames the apples or it describes the apples. In this case, it's a predicate adjective saying ripe, okay? The tells me about the apples, tells me which ones. Then I have not. Not tells me about the verb, okay? They are not, so, and not is an adverb. Then I have the words enough. Enough tells me how ripe are they? They're ripe enough. So the enough is actually an adverb describing the adjective. Now I have the words to eat. To eat is an infinitive, telling me they're enough ripe to what? To eat, okay? So to eat is my infinitive describing enough. Now, I have one more on the board for us, and that was number 8. Nino helped Mrs. Thomas cheerfully. Nino is my verb, is my subject. Helped is the verb. Mrs. Thomas is my direct object. Cheerfully is simply an adverb telling me how he helped. Now, let's look at today's actual lesson. Today's lesson is on page 198 in your book. Go ahead and turn to page 198. Okay, let's look at the top in our blue box. It says, use adjectives to modify nouns and pronouns. We've been doing that for weeks, not a problem. Use an adverb to modify verbs. Adjectives are adverbs. Again, not a problem. We've been doing this. Number 2, they're just reminding us that if you have a predicate adjective, that it comes after a linking verb and it's a word that goes back and describes our subject. Okay? Number 3, people make a mistake with these two words frequently, and those are the words good and well. Okay? The word good is an adjective. It was a good book. That is a good movie. But when you have the word well, that is an adverb. It usually describes the verb. How did someone do it? They did it well. He scored well. How did he score? He scored well. If you are talking about a person's health, that is an adjective, but it is the exception. We use the word well. I hope your health is well, okay? And I do hope you are staying healthy during this pandemic. You know, guys, don't get all worked up. Don't get all bent out of shape. Obviously, wash your hands a lot. Use lots of Germ-X. That's why we have it, 3 places in our classroom. Use lots of that. You take precautions. Be wise, but don't be fearful. God's in control. He knows all about our situation. Now, let's look at number 4 in our blue box. Surely, really, and badly. Notice that they all end in ly. Most words ending in ly are adverbs, but these 3 words seem to cause people a little bit of trouble. Surely, really, and badly are adverbs. Sure, real, and bad are adjectives. We're going to look at exercise A together. And of course, cross out the cross out in your directions and put the word circle. Cross out the IN in incorrect. So that your directions read, circle the correct form in the parentheses. Queen Victoria of England reigned good or reigned well for over 63 years. How did Queen Victoria reign? She reigned well, because well is an adverb, by the way. She did reign well. Her goal was to have a Bible in every home in England. What a good goal. Number 2, she was sure or surely young when she ascended the throne at age 18. Okay, she was what? She was young. To what extent was she young? She was surely young because it's an adverb. The queen was very happily married to Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. What a name, huh? All right, the queen was married. How was she married? She was happily married. Happily is an adverb, and they were a very happy couple. I believe God blessed them with, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 children. Marie Antoinette of France did not choose her friends good or well. We're going to talk about how she chose. She did not choose well, because did choose is a verb. Okay, so we want to use well as an adverb. This is referring to Marie Antoinette, she lived a lavish or lavishly lifestyle even when the common people were starving. How did she live? She lived lavishly. Number 6, the Queen of France was severely warned to change her spendthrift ways. How was she warned? Severely warned, because it's an adverb. Eventually, Marie Antoinette's poor or poorly choices, which were they? They were poor choices. Sure or surely led to her death. This is going to talk about the verb led, so it's going to be surely led to her death. Number 8, Queen Elizabeth II helped with the war effort during the dark or darkly days of World War II. With the war effort during the dark days. What kind of days were they? They were dark days. She worked real or really hard to be an encouragement to the British people. She worked really hard. How did she work? She worked really hard. At the bottom on exercise B, you'll need to write these 4 sentences. You will see a place later where I'll have you put them online for me so that I can grade them. These will count as a test grade in your creative writing class for writing mastery. So please make sure that you use proper capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and of course, you use the words correctly. Let's look at page 199. We already know that a preposition begins with a preposition and it ends with an object. We know that all the modifiers in between are included in our prepositional phrase. We know that prepositional phrases, if they describe a noun or a pronoun, are called adjective phrases. Today we're going to look at them and say, what if that prepositional phrase describes a verb, an adjective or another adverb. I'm gonna give you a clue. You already know this. It's oh, you're intelligent. An adverb clause, or adverb phrase, I'm sorry. It's an adverbial phrase. Now, with that being said, what are my questions to an adverb? They tell us where, when, how often, to what extent, and I want to add the word why, okay? So an adverb phrase can tell us where, when, how often, to what extent, where, when, how, to what extent, or why. Okay, let's look at our blue box on page 199. In AD 79, Pompeii was destroyed. In AD 79 tells us when. So it tells us when was destroyed. The soil was dry beneath the surface. Beneath the surface tells us what? It tells us where it was dry. The storm continued late into the night. Into the night is a prepositional phrase telling us when. When was it late, okay? Now, look at box 3. These are the ones that, they're not hard, they're not difficult, and you've done them before. These are infinitive phrases. An infinitive phrase, remember, begins usually with the word to. It includes the infinitive, a complement, because a lot of infinitives have direct objects. It includes its complement as well as any of its modifiers. Sorry about that, guys. My phone is just giving me a little warning. Okay, next, infinitive phrases can describe our verb, our adjective, or an adverb. And so therefore, it will be functioning as an adverb phrase. Look at number 1. Kristen has gone to the post office to mail a letter. Okay, the first is, do you see a prepositional phrase? They want you to, and this is kind of going to be weird to us because we always put parentheses around. They want us to underline the preposition, put parentheses around your infinitives. I don't mind if you switch that. If you change the markings, please change your direction so later you'll know how you marked them. Okay? Now, I put this on the board for us. Kristen has gone to the post office to mail a letter. The first prepositional phrase I see is what? To the post office. This is my prepositional phrase. I know it's a preposition because it begins with a preposition and it ends with an object. So it is a prepositional phrase. What does to the post office tell me? It tells me where. Where has Kristen gone? She has gone to the post office. Okay? Look back at your sentence. Now there's no more prepositional phrases, but there is an infinitive. To mail the letter. To mail the letter is an infinitive phrase. Okay? And it's an infinitive phrase that tells me what? Tells me why. Why has she gone? She has gone to mail the letter. Okay? So do you see how the prepositional phrase began with a preposition and ended with an object? And our infinitive began with an infinitive and ended with an object as well in this case. Okay? To arrive at the airport on time, we should leave by 12:30. Okay? So first I'm looking for a prepositional phrase. By 12:30. By 12:30 tells me when I should leave. Okay? So it's going to tell me about when I should leave. Then we're going to look for our infinitive. Our infinitive is to arrive. Remember, infinitives look like verbs, but they don't act like verbs, okay? So to arrive at the airport on time. All of that is my infinitive phrase, okay? The whole thing, remember, it's the infinitive and all of its modifiers, okay? So when we have to arrive at the airport on time, it tells me what? It tells me why I should leave. Why I should leave. Your homework for today is to complete this exercise on page 199. I want you to finish doing all of these exercises here, 3 through 9. We will check them tomorrow. You need to make sure that you complete them to the best of your ability before you take the quiz today.